Ivy Sinclair had been on Bumble for a while, swiping past profiles of guys holding fish, gym selfies, and the occasional bio that screamed, "Red flag." Then she saw Robin. His profile was different dark, mysterious, yet oddly charming. His bio was simple. "Let's skip the small talk. Meet me for a drink." His pictures were perfect. Black and white portraits, sharp jawline, piercing green eyes. Something about him was magnetic. She swiped right. It was a match. Within seconds, a message popped up. "Robin, you're even more beautiful than your pictures. Let's meet tonight, 9 p.m., the Hollow Oak." It was bold, but exciting. A little dangerous. Ivy hesitated, then typed, "Sure, see you there." She had no idea she had just made the worst decision of her life. The Hollow Oak was hidden in an alley downtown, a hole-in-the-wall kind of place. The neon sign flickered, casting eerie red light on the cracked pavement. Ivy adjusted her dress, took a deep breath, and stepped inside. The air was thick with cigarette smoke. The bar was nearly empty, except for a few shadowy figures hunched over their drinks. Then she saw him. Robin sat in the farthest booth, dressed in all black. He looked exactly like his photos, but something about him felt off. His skin was too smooth, his eyes too piercing, like they saw through her. He smiled, but it didn't reach his eyes. "Ivy," he said, standing as she approached. "I was afraid you wouldn't come." She forced a smile. "Well, here I am." The second she sat down, she felt I-10 unease crawling under her skin. She brushed it off. "Just nerves, right?" Then Robin spoke. "I knew you'd come," he murmured. "I've been waiting for you for a long time." Ivy froze. "What do you mean?" she asked. Robin tilted his head. "I mean, we were meant to meet. This moment, it was always going to happen." His voice was soothing, almost hypnotic, but there was something wrong in his tone. Her stomach twisted. Then she noticed something else. The bartender, the other customers, they weren't moving. They sat motionless, staring at their drinks, not talking, not blinking. Like mannequins. Ivy's pulse spiked. "Are you okay?" she asked the bartender. He didn't react. She turned back to Robin. Hay was watching her closely, his fingers slowly drumming against the table. "Relax," he said, smiling too wide. "It's just us now." Ivy's breath hitched. Something was terribly wrong. "I need to use the restroom," Ivy said, forcing a casual tone. Robin's eyes darkened. "Of course. I'll be here." She grabbed her phone and walked quickly toward the bathroom. The second she turned the corner, she sprinted. She pushed through the exit door. At the back of the bar boot, it led to a brick wall. No alley, no street, just solid brick. Her heart pounded. She spun back toward the bar, but the door was gone. The hallway stretched longer now. Dim lights flickered, casting twisted shadows on the walls. Her breathing shallowed. She grabbed her phone. No service. A message notification popped up. "Robin, you can't leave." A cold hand touched her shoulder. She screamed. She turned. Robin was behind her. But he was different now. His once perfect skin was peeling, revealing something dark and rotting underneath. His green eyes were now pitch black. "Ivy," he whispered, his voice warping. "I told you. We were meant to meet." Ivy backed against the wall. "This isn't real," she gasped. Robin laughed. "Oh, but it is." The walls began to melt, revealing dozens of figures in the shadows. Men, women, all trapped, their faces twisted in silent screams. Robin stepped closer. "You're mine now." His jaw unhinged, stretching unnaturally wide. His teeth were rows of jagged, rotting fangs. Ivy ran. She ran down the hallway, her breath ragged, her legs burning. Doors appeared and disappeared as she passed. She grabbed unlocked. Another locked. Robin's laughter echoed. The hall tightened, closing in. Then, up ahead a mirror. She skidded to a stop. In the reflection, she saw herself. But behind her, Robin was right there. His rotting fingers reached for her shoulder. She spun. One was there. But her reflection? It smiled. And then, it stepped out. Ivy woke up. She was in her bed, her apartment. Safe. She sat up, heart racing. Just a nightmare. Just a nightmare. Her phone buzzed. A new Bumble match. Her blood ran cold. It was Robin. Same pictures. Same bio. Her hands shook as she swiped through his profile. Then, she noticed something new. A picture of her. A photo of her sitting at the hollow oak. A caption beneath it. "We were meant to meet." Her phone screen glitched, the pixels distorting. And then, Robin's voice whispered from the speaker. "See you soon." The screen went black. Claire met Damien at a quiet little cafe 2 days ago. He had been charming, with intense blue eyes, a deep, soothing voice, and a smile that sent shivers down her spine, but in a good way. They talked over coffee, and she found herself drawn to him. He was intelligent, well-spoken, and had a strange but alluring mystery about him. By the end of their conversation, he had invited her to his house for dinner. She hesitated at first, but he laughed, smooth and confident. "I promise I'm not a serial killer," he had joked. It made her laugh. He didn't seem dangerous. So, she said yes. She had no idea she had just made the worst mistake of her life. Damien's house was beautiful, but eerily secluded and modern. Sleek home hidden deep in the woods, far from the city lights. Claire stepped out of her car, suddenly feeling small in the vast silence of the forest. "Come inside," Damien said, opening the door with that same perfect smile. The inside was immaculately lit, elegant, with a long mahogany dining table set for two. A rich, savory aroma filled the air. "Wow, something smells amazing," Claire said. Damien chuckled, leading her toward the table. "I hope you like meat. I made something special tonight." She sat down as he poured them deep red wine. Everything seemed perfect, until she saw the locked steel door at the end of the hallway. Something about it felt wrong. She shivered, brushing off the unease. As they ate, Damien watched her closely, eyes never leaving her face. The meat was tender, rich, slightly sweet. She chewed slowly, suddenly aware that he wasn't eating. "Not hungry?" she asked. He smiled. "I prefer to watch." Her stomach twisted. Then she noticed something else. The butcher knives laid neatly on the counter, meat hooks hanging in the kitchen, a deep freezer slightly ajar, something red dripping onto the floor. Claire swallowed hard. "It's nothing," she told herself. Then Damien reached out and touched her wrist. His hands were ice cold, and his nails were too sharp. Excusing herself to the bathroom, Claire snuck into the kitchen instead. Her heart pounded as she approached the deep freezer. The dripping red liquid wasn't juice. It was blood. She lifted the lid. Inside were severed hands, feet, faces still frozen in expressions of terror. She clamped a hand over her mouth to keep from screaming. Then, a soft creak behind her. She spun. Damien stood in the doorway, smiling. "You weren't supposed to see that." Claire bolted. She ran for the front door locked. She grabbed a knife from the counter, hands shaking. Damien sighed. "I hate when they run," he murmured. Then he lunged. She slashed. He caught her wrist effortlessly. His grip was inhumanly strong. She kicked, thrashed, screamed. He just smiled. "This is always my favorite part," he whispered, dragging her toward the steel door. He threw her inside a cold, blood-stained room, lined with rusted chains and cages. The stench was unbearable. In the dim light, she saw bodies, hanging, headless, some missing entire limbs. A woman, still alive, reached out weakly from a cage. "Please," the woman sobbed. "Help me, eats us," Claire screamed. Damien sighed behind her. She wasn't supposed to wake up yet. He grabbed a meat cleaver. Claire ran. Claire grabbed a rusty bone saw from a table. As Damien lunged, she swung wildly. The blade sliced across his face. He howled, staggering back, his perfect features twisting into something monstrous. Claire yanked open a cage, freeing the woman. Together, they ran for their lives. Claire grabbed a chair, smashed it through a window, and they both dove outside. The cold air burned her lungs. Behind them, Damien stood in the shattered window, blood dripping down his face, smiling. "You can run," he called, his voice echoing in the trees. But I will always find you. Claire never spoke to the police. Who would believe her? The house was gone when she returned with help, as if it had never existed. But she knew he was still out there, watching, waiting. One night, her phone buzzed. A message from an unknown number. A picture of Damien, smiling at a new cafe. A girl sitting across from him. The caption read, "Dinner time." Claire dropped her phone, shaking. She knew one thing for certain. The hunt was never over.